My wife Tessa was never without her phone. It was like an extra part of her hand, always close, always locked, always face down. She said it was for work, that patients called her at odd hours, and I believed her. For 8 years of marriage, I believed everything, until that Thursday night. She was in the shower when her phone rang on the nightstand. At first, I ignored it. But when it rang again, same number, no caller ID. Something in me shifted. The third time it rang, I picked it up. A man's voice came through, low and familiar with her name. "Tess, I miss you already. You left your earring in my car. Same time tomorrow?" I didn't answer, I just listened. He waited a moment, then hung up. For a while, I just stood there staring at the phone, the steam from the bathroom drifting through the half-open door. My mind went blank. Tessa came out, wrapped in a towel, smiling like everything was normal. She didn't even notice her phone had moved. She kissed my cheek and asked if I'd already set the alarm. I said yes, but inside something in me had already broken. That voice, those words, the way he said her name, not Tessa, but Tess, like he'd said it 100 times before. That night, I lay awake beside her, watching the light from her phone blink every few minutes, message after message. She slept soundly. I didn't close my eyes once. By morning, my heart felt heavy, but my head was clear. I wasn't going to accuse her, not without proof. If Tessa could lie that easily, I wanted to see how far the lie would go. Over breakfast, she was cheerful, humming as she packed her lunch. She wore a new perfume I hadn't noticed before, soft, expensive, something that didn't smell like her. When she kissed me goodbye, I smiled back and told her to drive safe. Inside, I was memorizing every word she said. The moment she left, I opened her laptop. It was password protected, now. It never used to be. Her phone, too, had a new lock screen. That was all the confirmation I needed. She was hiding something, and she'd already started building walls. I work in IT security, so tracking devices isn't new to me. I bought a small syncing tool, something discreet, something she wouldn't notice. That night, when she showered, again, I mirrored her phone's cloud data onto mine. Messages, photos, location history, everything. At first, there was nothing unusual. Work messages, reminders, screenshots of recipes. But 3 days later, a message came through from a contact saved as dentist. "Can't stop thinking about last night. You taste like trouble." My stomach turned. 2 minutes later, she replied, "You're crazy, same place tomorrow?" The same words the man had said on the phone. That was the proof I needed. I didn't confront her, not yet. I wanted to see him, to look him in the eye and know who she was destroying our home for. So I checked her shared location. It pinged at a hotel on Elm Street, a place people use for business meetings during the day and lies at night. I didn't go inside. I just watched from my car. At 4:17 p.m. she walked out, hair messy, adjusting her blouse. A man followed, tall, mid-40s, confident. He opened her car door for her like he'd done it before. She smiled, the same smile she used to give me. That was the moment something in me went still. No shouting, no tears, just a kind of quiet that feels colder than rage. That night, she came home late, kissed me softly, and said she was exhausted. I just nodded, because she had no idea I'd seen everything. That night, I stared at the ceiling while she slept beside me. Her breathing was calm, peaceful, the sound of a woman who thought her secrets were safe. But I was done being her fool. By morning, I'd made my decision. There wouldn't be a confrontation. No shouting, no begging for the truth. I wanted her to see her world crumble without understanding how I did it. I started small. I went through every shared account, phone plans, streaming, insurance, and quietly changed the passwords. I moved my savings to a new bank, opened a separate credit card. To her, everything looked normal. She still laughed, still told stories about her tough days at work. A week later, I created a new email address under a fake name, Evan Cole. I sent a message to her dentist contact. "You left something in my car. Same place, same time?" he replied within minutes. Sure thing. See you there, beautiful. That was all I needed. I sent one more text, not from me, but from her phone while she was asleep. Can't wait to see you again, love. Then, from my fake account, I forwarded their entire conversation thread, screenshots, photos, and times, to his wife. I didn't include my name. I didn't have to. The next evening, Tessa came home shaking. She said her boss's wife had shown up at the clinic screaming, accusing everyone of lies and cheating. Tessa was terrified. She told me the wife was crazy and that it was all a misunderstanding. I just nodded, pretending to believe her. Inside, I felt nothing but silence, the kind that comes when justice doesn't need noise. Over the next week, I started packing the essentials, clothes, documents, my laptop. I rented a small studio apartment under my brother's name. Then, the night before I left, I placed her phone on the table, unlocked. All her messages to him open, visible. Next to it, I left my wedding ring and a note that said, I finally answered your phone, and then I walked out of our house, leaving her with the same silence she gave me every time that phone rang. By sunrise, I was gone. I drove until the city skyline disappeared behind me and the road turned quiet. I rented a small place by the coast, bare walls, single bed, peace. I didn't check my old number for days, but when I finally did, the messages flooded in. First confusion, then panic, then guilt disguised as apologies. Please, I can explain. It wasn't what you think. Don't do this to us. There was no us anymore. The moment I heard that man's voice, she made sure of that. A week later, I heard from one of her coworkers. Her boss, the man she'd been seeing, was fired after his wife exposed everything to the clinic board. Tessa had quit out of shame. Word got around fast. People stopped talking to her and started whispering about her. I didn't feel joy, not exactly. It was more like balance had been restored. Meanwhile, I focused on rebuilding my life. I started my own small IT business, taking freelance jobs from home. My mind was clear for the first time in years. I worked, I walked by the shore, I slept without wondering whose messages were lighting up her phone. 3 months later, she showed up at my new place. I don't know how she found me. She looked smaller somehow, thinner, pale, the sparkle she once had gone. Ethan, she said softly, using my name like a question. I didn't invite her in. She started crying. I made a mistake. I don't even know why I did it. Can we just start over? I looked at her for a long moment and said, You already started over, just not with me. She covered her mouth and sobbed. I closed the door gently and walked away. That was the last time I saw her. 2 years has passed since I answered that call. My business is steady. My peace is stronger. I don't check anyone's phone anymore. I don't need to. Sometimes people think revenge means destruction, but real revenge is silence. It's walking away so completely that they have to live every day knowing they lost you by their own hands. Tessa wanted attention. I gave her absence. And that, in the end, was louder than any argument could ever be.